All right, so we are now live. So, hey everybody, welcome back to CSCQ Builds, or as it was originally called when we started this thing, and we said the name was subject to change. And as far as most of you are concerned, this has been called Summer of Shipping, but that was kind of back to our roots. So, as you can imagine, this presentation is going to be kind of a time travel in the sense that I dug up my first slides and we're kind of going to bring them back a little bit. So welcome to CSCQ Builds, everybody. Right about this time of the year for a lot of people are finishing up internships traditionally. And summer internships are great, but for various reasons, they don't always happen every year. They're great because you get experience with environment setup, Git, code reviews, all this good stuff. But this year, as we all know, we got the coronavirus. And so these statistics that I just pulled them, I actually had to update them for week 4, week 5, but there are actually a lot. I think the number of companies that had layoffs is right around 800 or so, according to Candor, and the number of canceled internships was like around 300 or so, 320 or so companies. Not a ton more than what was originally happened, but it did grow a little bit. We talked about in our first presentation that this kind of changes in terms of what happens for people who are early on in their careers. I'm not going to actually go through all of these, but essentially the thing is like it's not the most excellent time of the year. One of our guest speakers this summer has actually gave us some color, which is to think about in terms of, hey, if you are thinking of what the impact the coronavirus had on software, well, the digitalization of everything is just accelerating. So maybe the short-term prospects are harmed, but the long-term macro looks good. And that's something to keep in mind. So that was the reality. This summer was really a winter for many of us. And we did try to do something about it. So this meeting is going to be kind of a, just look back and see what people did this summer to some extent. Again, this is me. I'm not going to go through this, but now all this stuff probably makes a lot more sense. You guys know who I am now. I'm no longer just a random guy on the internet, but actually this guy who is really lazy and falls asleep at work a lot. So the objective for summer originally was to improve your resume. The second thing that we talked about was to improve the skills you need on the job. We actually revised this at some point during the summer, and we said, well, let's break this down even more. One, we want to help you get an interview. Then we want to help you pass the interview. And then finally, we want to improve the job skills, which is where we want to spend the bulk of our time, because the first two are important, but the last one is perhaps the most rewarding. And so what we focused on were, okay, can we improve our traditional resume? That's what we're going to be doing here, to showing off demos and projects and so on. The public resume, we talked about the importance of that. The passing the interview, this is something that big shout out to Pedro and John and all the other mentors who got involved with helping with interview prep, but also I didn't really mention that here, but all the little one-on-one coaching that mentors have been doing, that kind of behind the scenes, that is also something I want to call out. And the job skills, that's when we meet every Thursday. Oftentimes we have a topic that can potentially add a little bit more color and detail to your understanding of certain topics. So the goal at the time was by day 90. I don't know exactly how that appeared, but I am going to, I don't know if I can unannotate that. Give me a second as I see if I can change something, because that's awfully distracting. Okay, 1 second. Let's see. Okay. It is now gone, but anyways, so the goal was by day 90, have similar-ish job attractiveness to those who completed internships. So that was kind of the goal, and it's always been a lofty goal, but I think that we made some progress on that. So one of the things we talked about was picking a project. I have this slide here for just to think about, like, how are you assessing your project, right? And so we talked about things that made a project good. It excites you, right? This is something that's really important. It starts small. This is something that I think, if you started on a big project this summer, you've kind of learned how difficult it can be to finish a large project. It's deployed, and it uses tech that employers are somewhat interested in. It has users and is built in public. So that was from a Reddit post. We talked about learning and building in public, kind of almost speaking it into existence. We mentioned Swix, and what was crazy is Swix just appeared maybe a couple of weeks ago, and he was able to give us a much more detailed presentation than what I mentioned from this one excerpt from him. And so we were really able to pick his brain. So let's evaluate how we did. And I really wanted to just go break it down like area by area. So one of them was projects. And so, you know, depending on whether or not you got to a point where you have something where you can put on your resume, you know, you've got a project out of this, or two, or maybe even three. So depending on, you know, what you did. So one of the things you want to think about is how do you present this on your resume? Things that really matter are metrics, downloads, users, money. All these things are really important. Provide a URL so that people can go to your project and see it live, whether that's it on the App Store or if it's a web app, you know, just somewhere where they can see it. If it's a library or something else, you know, just some sort of landing page for people. And then you do want to mention the tech stack. And so one of the things that people don't care about, though, is they don't care how much time you spent. So if you spent 20 hours or 20 weeks, I can't tell the difference when I'm looking at your project. So that's one thing to think about. And if you didn't sweat, if you didn't ship, no sweat. You can crank out something between now and when school starts, or whatever. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Okay, so the technical skills. I hope that you were able to improve your technical skills from your projects, from your mentors, and from these presentations. Just little by little, learning a little bit. So I hope that's been effective. One thing that I wanted you guys to be able to do is increase your comfort with learning in public. If you're like hopefully finding Twitter to be useful, but if it's not working for you, if you're not really getting the value out of it, don't worry. That's not the goal here is not to force you to get on Twitter. The goal here is to get you to experience like kind of the power and see what it's about. So people from SOS have already, you know, got opportunities for gigs and stuff, and as well as some opportunities to do some writing just by Twitter. And if you are curious, watch the Swix Talks for more information. He gives a lot more detail on how that's all possible. But that's been very, very cool. So we have had some inbound interest because we've been building in public or learning in public. Interview prep, take advantage of this. As a reminder, recruiting season for a lot of internships starts really early. In fact, I've already gotten some pings from people being like, hey, can you look at my resume because I'm thinking ahead. And if for everybody else who's not thinking ahead, like some of these advanced people are, you've got to start thinking that, hey, the time to practice is really actually now. And I want to light a fire under you guys to kind of start thinking about that at this moment. And the big thing that, you know, I didn't really talk about, wasn't like a big goal when I first started off, but it's probably the most important thing at all of this is just relationships. You know, now you have made friendships with peers and mentors. And like I said, I'm no longer just like some random dude on the internet. A lot of you guys know me and we've had conversations and I've been able to see your projects develop. And some of you guys may not even be working on projects, but are just straight up learning stuff. And, you know, like all these things are really great things, and finding ways to be able to tell stories and present yourself in a way that can get attention or so on is important. And, but anyways, the big thing that I really, really wanted from this, and I didn't state it from the very beginning, but it was always a goal of mine from the very start, was for people to develop relationships. And I think that has happened. So one big lesson here is just reach out to people. You'd be surprised by how few people do reach out. And by reaching out, like that initiative means a lot and makes a lot of, you meet a lot of cool people that way. So I wanted to go over the demo list. As it stands, this is what the demo list looks like. Last week we had Andrew, so if you look for that Delta highlight, he's the only one I think that has one, and so big shout out to Andrew. We actually think have multiple Andrews, so I'm sorry if that's confusing, but I should add last names to some of these names because we have people. There's some overlap, but some teams will probably demo today. So and they might have already demoed in the past, but apologies if your team has demoed and I didn't put you on the far right. So that's where demo list stands. And now the big question is, who's next? So depending on like who goes, we're going to have a fun batch of people on the demo. So I'm going to pull up on my phone the list that Tommy prepared. Okay. And we will go from there. All right. So demos. Right now it is demo time. And so the list that I have right now are appear in the Zoom. It's going to be Van, Sanha, Andrew, and then I think this is Andrew Lee, and then it's going to be YouTube NLP team, and then other Andrew for the 100-day challenge, Shek, and then Team Parish. All right, so that's going to be the order. And so Van, whenever you're ready, take it away.
All right. How you doing?
Doing well. Can you share right now? I might not have.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on right now. Let's see. Hope that works. Hey, is it working?
I gotta stop sharing. That's right. My bad.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, y'all see this? Okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't really have the back end or like any of the users like interface actually working, but it boots, so that's fine. But it's a React app that oh wow, okay, hold on. CD my app npm start. There we go. Cool. All right. Thought I broke something already. So it's a React app, and I named it Not Picky, and it's basically going to be a web application that you just pick what kind of restaurant you want takeout or not, and it gives you an array of restaurants, or basically a return a bunch of restaurants around your area. This here is actually the Google Maps API, and you can. I mean, I have this as a feature, but you're probably not going to use it if I ever get this like going. But you can actually drag this out and put it in other areas, and it'll do the same thing. And at least my goal is to have it do the same thing if you drag it over, like say like over here or something. And
Nice.
I just basically I just ported over Material UI, and I just made this quick mockup, and that was it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And Van, when did you start this project? I know you've been juggling, you've been part of different projects this summer. So this is new to me.
4:00 last night. Jokes on
Excellent.
you, I haven't slept.
Excellent. So this is a classic hackathon, get ready for a demo style.
Yeah, I kind of forgot this is the last one. I was like, oh shit, I better get something ready.
Awesome.
Oh my
All
God.
right. And it's one of the things is about Van. I know that you didn't know any React or very little JavaScript when the summer began. Is that correct?
I couldn't do anything beyond a for loop.
And so yeah, you were able to learn React and get all this stuff going and learn how to interact with APIs, and it's been cool to see your progress this summer.
Yeah, I also learned never to mix React and Google Maps. Never again.
That's not a bad thing. We'll work on that.
Uh,
All righty. Well, thanks, Van. Let's give him a round of applause for that hackathon style presentation. Like I said, nobody on your resume is going to know how many hours you put into your project. There's no time tracking on that. All right, all the claps are coming in. Okay, next up we have Sanha. So Sanha, whenever you're ready, you can take it away.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Phil. So I'll just share. So I've been working on Anecdote for the summer, and we recently launched on the App Store last week. So check it out, and also we'll be launching on Product Hunt soon, so look out for us. But so I added GDPR compliance since we started, so people in the UK can use it. So I'll just log in for now. So for those of you who didn't see my first presentation, basically this app is built on top of Swift UI for the front end. And then in the back end, it uses Node.js and MongoDB. So we'll log in. Yeah, so I think it'll take a minute for the images to load. But since I built this, I have cleaned up the user interface a lot. So it's a lot cleaner now. And it's basically, so it's audio. So what Anecdote is, it's a audio social media platform. So you can click on the story, and then
There are about 19.5
it'll
million
play.
people in the state of New York. Over the
Yeah,
past few
and
months,
then if you click,
418,000
kind of,
cases
we have a
coronavirus have
Spotify
been
style
reported,
controller.
and 30.
So you can go from story to story.
Hello,
From
people.
here, we have some Scottish people on here too. And then you can click on comments from here. And then you can also get to comments from here.
That is
So that's
awesome.
the single feed. So trending and also like any people that you follow. So if you go on a user profile, click on it, you can follow and unfollow people, and they'll get a notification.
Oh my dude, this thing. I think I was on one of the flight test versions
Mhm.
of this, and it just feels like in the last 2-3 weeks, like all of a sudden, boom, like feature, and it's amazing.
Yeah, no. Honestly, like once the groundwork was set up, like adding on top of it made it a lot simpler.
Yeah,
But yeah, as Phil can attest, it was a little rough around the edges the first go around.
dude, this is
Yeah, so I'll just show you the creation feature. So we've changed the creation feature around a little bit. So when you get to it, you'll see a tip, and you can click the answer story, answer a question about life, and you can record here. Yeah, and the new feature we just added actually was you can, oh, that looks ugly, but you can play back what you recorded. So from here, you can put a title, and then you can also add a picture. Yeah, so other features are you can search for stories. So you can search by topic, or you can just search for the title. And how this works is it'll just make a request to the API whenever you press enter.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so some notifications here, and you can click on, if someone likes your post, you can click on it, and then it'll bring up the story, and then just your user profile over here.
That's sick.
Yeah, so those are the core features. I think the biggest one, hopefully, that will drive up engagement is this question of the day. So like every day you'll get a new question, and then once you log in, it'll send you a notification every 3 days. So you can click on it, and then it'll just pre-populate the question for you over here. Yeah, but that's about it. Yeah, and so a lot of the file stuff is being handled by AWS S3 and like CloudFront. Yeah, so all of this is deployed from there.
That is awesome. Very, very, very cool, Sana. Let's give him a big round of. People have been giving you a round of applause like the entire time in the chat, but I'll give you an audible one now because, as always, I'm probably the only person who's unmuted. But great job. And hey, how many people are here right now? There's 29 people here. I expect us to have at least 29 Product Hunt upvotes when the thing launches. Okay, so if you don't have a Product Hunt account now, I want everybody to make one and get ready for that launch. All right, that's one thing that like Product Hunt is big on is, hey, get your people to come out and support you, and that's we gotta do that. All right, so make sure that happens, everybody. Put that on your to-do list, make an account, watch out for Sanha's drop, and we'll be there.
Thanks, guys.
And we've got a question on you. Question for you. Just how long have you been working on this, Sanha?
Oh yeah, so I started, I think right about when summer shipping started. So like around mid-May. Yeah, and I think I finished up the first beta of it maybe a month or two in, and then from there it was just like a lot of iterating. Working somewhat full-time. I have like a side thing. So yeah, these are actual users. We have around 80 downloads so far. Hopefully we can get more from there. But yeah, so this is the actual database, which is why I didn't create a story. Yeah.
Sick. Awesome. Yeah, and hopefully there will be another 20 more guys. It's you know the drill. So yeah, I'm just assuming that 60% iOS, Android. So I'm joking. All right, big round of applause for Sanha. Thank you for that demo, and we will be there when you launch on Product Hunt. Great. So next up we've got Andrew. So Andrew L.
Something's broken right now. Can I go next?
Oh yeah, definitely. We will, while we wait for Andrew to fix whatever is broken, let's go with team YouTube NLP. And I think Pratik, you are going to present on behalf of the team. Hey. Or Dev. Yeah.
Yeah, Phil, I can go ahead.
Okay. Great.
So yeah, I think like I'll start off with giving a quick background of the team and the people. And Anirudh is going to give like the technical demo. So yeah, just a brief recap. YouTube NLP is essentially a project to help any sort of social researcher or journalist visualize all sorts of NLP tasks on YouTube comments and transcripts. And we got this idea like I got this idea last summer because YouTube was in some hot water because of its tendency to push people to more radical content. So we thought it'd be really cool to provide all sorts of like different cards, such as like named entity recognition, argument pruning, and like sentiment analysis, word clouds, all sorts of such tasks on a visual dashboard. So we have 3 different sub-teams inside our group. I'm part of the NLP team. Anirudh leads the backend team, and I think the front-end team. I feel like we can give it up to Anirudh to showcase the demo.
All right, Ani, let's see it.
Okay. Hi, everyone. And thanks, Phil, for answering my silly questions in Discord.
No, it's all good. All good.
Okay. Yeah. So let me share my screen. Let me see if I can share. Okay. All right. Yeah. So can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Yeah. So so we have made this architecture for YouTube NLP. And here, if you can see, this is like on the right side, there is NLP. So NLP is making all these scripts, creating scripts and these ML scripts. So that and in the backend we have all these services, like this is like a sentiment service, this is like comment service, and we have choose Firebase for authentication, Next.js for front end, and that is and our backend is deployed in IBM Cloud and our front end is deployed in Vercel, and both are and we are using a REST protocol for connection. Yeah, so this is all it. And for CI/CD we are using GitHub Actions. So actually this was the whole thing. And like we have also created this specification. Can you see the next new tab?
Yes, we're looking at Swagger Hub right now.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we have created a specification. So it has all the details in it. So you can see like all these endpoint what they provide, and we have like we also wanted to like show the front end, but for some reason it was not able to complete. So this is like the dashboard we have created for our website. So here would be the video, here would be the keywords, and here you will get all the visualizations for the video, and this would be like the profile page for the user. And okay, and also a backend is working. So let me do like.
Yeah, for the front end, it just sounds like you need to talk to Van, and he'll pull an all-nighter, and it'll be done for you tomorrow. So that's
yeah, sure. Yeah, so this. So yeah, so this is our backend. It is deployed in IBM Cloud and it's working. Yeah, so it's working, right. And the transcript service is also working.
Nice.
Yeah, and like actually I think YouTube NLP has a lot more people than other projects. So Pratik is with us. Who else is with us? Yeah, so that's it. That was it. And we have a GitHub repository, so you can check it out. YouTube NLP is the name.
Awesome. Nice, guys. Yeah, getting one of the big things about big projects, you'll like that I think, you know, a lot of you guys have encountered if you maybe had, I would say you start probably encountering this problem at 4 people or maybe 5 or so, is coordinating and breaking up work. And one of the things that the YouTube NLP team, they've had a big challenge is that they're probably the biggest team of SOS. And so how do you divide up work and figure out how to do all of that? And so it's been really cool to kind of see, different, like I've been able to contact with Ani and just check in like every now and then to see, how are we thinking about that? And one of the cool things though is now that you have the back end working, you can put lots of different potential front ends to that. And so that's one potential option that he showed us. And so I'm excited to see if you guys do add a front end for us to play around with it. But so far it looks great, guys. So good job on the team effort.
Yeah, in like quick note, like I think we have a lot of moving pieces in the next couple of weeks or so. We'll be able to put everything together. We have 8 cards almost ready right now, but I've applied for GPT-3 access, and once that comes in, I think there'll be so many cool things we could do. So.
Absolutely. And one thing that I don't want to necessarily the cat's already out the bag. Like we're going to continue doing like kind of demos and meetings into August, maybe not in the same exact way, but I'm looking forward to maybe seeing an update in a week or two, or whenever you guys are ready, with a little bit more kind of whatever it is that you guys want to put together. And Ani, I think you had a comment. Oh, it might have been an accidental hand raise. But awesome. All right, let's give it up for a big round of applause for the YouTube NLP team. Thanks, guys. Good work. All righty. And so, yeah, make sure to check out the GitHub project. And if you maybe want to even collaborate with them, it sounds like they might have, they're in motion on some things, but maybe they might need another hand or so. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is go back to Andrew L. And Andrew, if you are good to go now, we'll go to you. Otherwise, we'll go to other Andrew.
All right. Well, my main project, I can't seem to debug it, but I have something else to demo.
All righty.
Okay. Cool. Shoot, that's okay. Which screen is that? Do you know?
We're seeing the Lorem Ipsum.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this week, rather than working on my other project, I decided to build a minimalistic typing test specifically for coding, because I found that most of the when my typing speed for code is a lot slower than my typing speed for regular English. But yeah, this is just a proof of concept.
Nice.
But yeah, to demo it, I'll just.
That is cool.
Yeah, and it shows the stats afterwards. It's pretty simple, but yeah.
Wow.
Right now I need to work on actually generating text specifically for like text that includes like keywords for code and stuff like that. But yeah.
No, that's dope. There's been a few times where people in the SOS group have kind of gathered to do TypeRacer. I don't know if you've been a part of that, Andrew.
No, I haven't.
But yeah, we should use this instead. I think there's a comment there.
Yeah, this design is actually inspired by another typing test website called MonkeyType. But yeah,
Nice.
That's mostly just for like English, and I want to make one specifically for practicing code.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, the big thing, I think, like all those symbols, right? The parentheses and
Right. Yeah.
the brackets, and then yeah.
I can actually show that. All it does is just like randomly chooses keywords and like symbols from a list of like a curated list. But I can show that really quick. Yeah, so it pretty much just looks like that. But
Nice.
it's a little, I want to make it more realistic, so rather than like randomly picking symbols and stuff. But yeah.
Awesome. And I guess like one question I got for you. So we've seen a couple other projects from you before. When did you start this most recent one?
After last week, I wanted to take a break for a bit. So I think I started on Monday.
Totally.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, see, the reason why I ask these kind of questions is it's like if somebody hasn't demoed or if you haven't started on a project yet, or you've gotten to the summer and you're like, oh man, I don't know what to do. You can do a lot in a week or 2 weeks or even a day, or as long as you scope it right. And and one of the things that I'm really excited to see are all these small scoped projects that can actually ship, and it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Andrew, for demoing your latest little project. And give you a big round of applause.
Thank you.
Yeah. Kenny, last night at 3 a.m. Yeah, everyone started their projects last night at 3 a.m. Okay, so the claps are rolling in, and as we kind of wait for that round of applause to continue, we will now go to other Andrew.
Okay. Okay, so I started doing the 100-day challenge, which you can find here. It goes through a bunch of different steps to get there, and it takes you through the other AWS, and at the end of it, you end up with a resume and your own little website. And it takes you through the entire infrastructure of what AWS can do, all the way from DNS like Route 53 to S3 buckets, and how to turn those into public static websites. It goes through all kinds of crazy stuff like Lambda functions and APIs. And I think it was a really good experience for me.
That is awesome. Can you go back and show us the steps that the challenge kind of entails, and kind of what parts that you found were like the most enlightening or the most frustrating, and which parts you found maybe a little bit easier, which part a little bit harder?
I'd have to, let's move this out of the way. Probably the most frustrating part was going from S3 websites to HTTPS and then to DNS, because it doesn't give you exactly what you need to know to get it going. But once you get it up and running, you're pretty good, and then it just kind of keeps rolling down through the different ones you can do.
That is super cool. That is super cool. I love this. I did not realize that this is what it was, and I hadn't taken a quick dive. But this is, if anybody is looking for something to complete this summer in a short, maybe I don't, Andrew, how long would you time box this? Like, how long do you think it might take somebody if you're doing a little bit a day versus if you're going full time on this? Just like ballpark estimate.
Let's say if you did 3 hours a day, you could probably do the whole thing in about 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the code review is tomorrow, so you're kind of have to get started if you want.
All right, Van. That means you gotta drop off and get to work now, Van. There's another thing for you to do. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Andrew. Let's give him a big round of applause for finishing that time for the deadline and sending that off to AWS for review. So rooting for you, and we will see if anybody else can race to make that deadline as well. Okay, so next up we have, I believe it's Ashek. Ashek is next.
Yeah.
All right.
Just share my screen. See, I think the new Mac OS is very picky with permissions.
All good.
Oh, yeah, I think I'm in your restart Discord. It'll be like 10 seconds.
Okay. Actually, Ashek, while we wait for you to kind of get that fixed up, we're actually going to go to the next team, and then we'll go back to you. All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's do that. Okay. So while we wait for Ashek to get his mic situation all set up, let's go to Team Parrish. All right. I know, Ken, you're in here somewhere. I see your name. All right. Well, it seems I can't get a hold of Ken at the moment. So let's go back to Ashek now, if you're ready.
Um, let's see. Everybody see this kind of widescreen?
Yeah, we can see it.
So it's really quick. I just really wanted to get kind of the demo that most people would like to. I started this embarrassingly like way at the beginning of SOS. I thought I had all this momentum about like getting into web dev, and then I kind of threw myself into a vanilla JavaScript rabbit hole for a while, and then recently I've been just kind of tinkering around with frameworks and everything. But this is the one thing in my portfolio that has a working UI, but it's still a little buggy. It's just Snake, but the point really is not Snake. It's just so that I have something with a workable UI that, like, as I go through the Mozilla documentation, I can kind of have some kind of place to play around with one at a time. So it's really kind of bare bones, but this is my first time with JavaScript, so I'm pretty happy with having something tangible to play with. So I'll just refresh it. It runs, it starts and stops because I found it like, I'm not exactly sure why, but maybe I'm just I'm filling up the Chrome stack way too quickly. So sometimes I pause it so that Chrome stops freezing or whatever. So if I press 1, Snake appears, and then I have on-screen buttons so I could kind of play around with UI as I kind of learned it. And 2 pauses. That's about it right now. But just getting used to JavaScript, really coming from more established languages. Like
Totally. And to figure out, you might have a memory leak of some sort, and that's a fun problem to solve.
Yeah,
we can work on that at some point too, because that's actually something that happens just by accident a lot of the time, and it's kind of fun to track those down. So if you want to, you can reach out to either myself or one of the mentors, and we can try to sit down and figure out what's going on there.
the other thing is, like, there's a lot of tools that, like, once you get into frameworks, you start to get exposed to like JavaScript lint and other node modules. So like, I really didn't want to just jump right into Angular or React. I wanted to kind of get an idea of what each feature like requires one by one. So like
थोड़ी बड़ी मीटिंग और अच्छी मीटिंग है ऐसा मतलब लाइक इसमें खाली हम नहीं है बाकी सब भी है बाकी सब वर्ल्ड के भी है जो अपने अपने डेमो दिखा रहे हैं.
Okay, I don't know if that. Okay, Yash, I think you might be unmuted. I'm going to actually mute you again, but let me know if you do want to make a comment. But so we go let Ashek finish up his presentation part. Yeah, so
that's pretty much it. The other things I'm working on don't really have a UI. I have an API kind of now that baseball came back, and I got a little more excited about that. So that's something in the works to kind of just pull stats and have them available so that when I start brainstorming what to do with those stats, I can have something more tangible. There's some things you could do. You can make like a fantasy baseball kind of client or something, or you just kind of geek out on the numbers themselves, or do some cool graphics. But yeah, that's mostly it. So I appreciate it. Just like the opportunity to be public, I guess.
Awesome. Well, let's give him a round of applause for showing off the UI elements, as well as the I don't know if you have you could show some of your source code for the API or whatever, but that's also really exciting I think APIs are, I'm personally really excited when people develop an API. I don't know if everybody is, but I think it's a really great project too. So yeah. let's give Ashek a big round of applause, and I don't know if he's going to pull up the API while we're clapping for him, but big props to you, man. All righty. All right, Ken. I just saw in the chat that just before you you just were away from keyboard for a second, but now you are up.
Hello?
Yep.
Alrighty. Screen good?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Before I start, let me just give a shout out to my team members on Team Parish. So I'm gonna give a shout out to Omar, myself, Moz, Tyler, Ryan, Andy, and Avi. So these guys have all helped me out through this. We started off as Team Python, and we were a very beginner project, but I think we've come a long way, and I hope you guys enjoy what we have at Team Parish. So what we have here is the idea behind Team Parish. If you haven't seen in previous demos, is that it's supposed to be a digital pantry app, a web app idea. So the idea is to scan a receipt, and you can just log your items and check back on it whenever. So I'm going to skip the user login portions, and I'm just going to demo you real quick what we have on the profile side. So this is not deployed yet. It's only localhost, but we were scrambling to put it together for this. So just to start off, I am going to show you an image real quick. So this is a sample image I just grabbed off the internet. So they have a bunch of grocery items there, and the goal is to try to get as many of them in there as possible. Let me just remember that image name. Browse, upload, upload. Unfortunately, it's on the back end. There's actually like multiple things. There's OCR technology that we're using. We also use NLP to parse through the images, the image to text, and then we clean up the text and then match that to an actual database that we have saved on the side also. So it says file uploaded. So I'm gonna refresh. Let's see how we did. Oh, wrong image. Sorry, guys. Oh, this is actually the wrong image too. It's actually matching this image. Why? I don't know. I probably just named it wrong. So it was able to grab the the item salami on the list. That's okay. And I'm assuming why it returns 2 entries. It's because we're trying to match singular words and plural words, and there is no singular and plural for salami. So that's why there's 2 entries in there right now. So just for shits and giggles, I'll do another one in there.
Nice.
Oh, whoops. There you go. Cherries are in there. So
Nice.
that's pretty much the entire demo. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. There's a lot that goes on to this. Can you go back to the GitHub and kind of just kind of show people like what parts are there and how, what
Oh yeah. So yeah. I guess I should have started with that. So I have an architecture diagram drawn out, but this is we're using a React front end and a Python back end. On the Python end, we have one script to run to access the OCR API. Then we have another parsing API in Python to deal with the NLP. And then for app we use Flask. And also we use Flask to deal with our login stuff also.
Nice.
See if our teammates have any problems. Yeah, but yeah, I have my teammates that are here. If you guys have any questions for us too, but that's Team Parish.
Awesome. Let's give them a big round of applause. I know one of the things that I've seen is Team Parish has been able to start off from a point where I think, Ken, maybe you can share the story a little bit better, but like you guys really didn't know any of the technologies that any of you guys were working on. Maybe some members had a little bit of experience here, a little bit of experience there. And so it was kind of a struggle to get going, but you guys have been able to learn, how to interface with the OCR stuff, do some of the processing on language and stuff. And so it's been a team effort to keep each other motivated. Is that right?
Yeah. So this project, I'm gonna share this part again, but I basically had to like step in as a team lead because 1 month into we started at the beginning of SOS, but no ideas actually came through. So we've only been working on this for about 2 months. In terms of experience, some we were all general beginners. I know Moz has a little bit of experience on the cybersecurity kind of stuff, so he dealt with that. Tyler had a little bit of experience with React, and Avi had a little bit of experience with Python, same with myself. But overall, it's just learning all the technologies from the ground up and just really, trying to do one thing and then realize it was like 5 layers above our reach, and we had to like scramble real hard just to try to reach it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ken, for kind of keeping the team together. There was a few points when you were like, "Dude, I don't know if I can do this," and we were like,
"Yeah, it still feels like this."
Yeah, that's what it'll always feel like. And so, a big shout out to Team Parrish. Thank you for that demo. I think you demoed just the back end before, but now kind of seeing it all end to end is amazing. So, big round of applause to you and Team Parrish. And so, guys, I'm actually going to start sharing my screen again. I don't have a demo, but I'm gonna bring us home for just a second. So, I thank everybody for the demo. Some people have had to drop off after they demoed, and so that's totally all good. But I just want to wrap things up a little bit. Whoopsies. So that's the end, or is it? But really, what I want to really leave you guys with is, we're ending at the end of July. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, tomorrow is the last day of July. But that means there's still time for the summer. And even though we're not going to continue meeting in this same format moving forward, we will have the opportunity to continue to do things in August and beyond. And so one of the things that I want you guys to think about is for projects, if you haven't created a project that you think is in a shippable form, don't worry. It's time for the procrastinators to all come together and try to ship something. I know I'm a huge procrastinator. If I were doing SOS right now, I probably would not have shipped something. And so what I'm telling is, myself, if I were in your shoes, what I would need to hear, which is, hey, there's still time. You can slap something together really fast. And if you need a lot of guidance on what to do, you can check out Nick's guide for an application with Hasura. He can spin up a to-do list really quickly just by following that. Maybe it takes an hour or two to walk through, and you can just reach out to Nick, and he can help you kind of get set up with that. But there's also a bunch of different types of things that you can do to get an end-to-end app working really quickly. The other thing is there's still time to gain technical skills, whether that is just by watching YouTube videos or watching these YouTube videos that you missed, reaching out to mentors. You still got a few weeks where their door is still open for you to kind of reach out to them and ask them questions. And there's also the Designing the Data Intensive Application Study Group. So if you want to be a part of that, we met yesterday. It's been a lot of fun. Big shout out to Justin for leading us and keeping us on track and kind of making sure that everybody is getting the most out of this experience. So join us on Wednesdays. Learning in public, that's up to you. At this point, if you haven't quite embraced it, I'm not going to force you, but I'm going to continue to nudge people. So if you are interested in joining and being part of the thing, just make sure that you take advantage of this opportunity and do it this summer. Interview prep Tuesdays. Take advantage of before Pedro starts his job. I think he starts his job really soon. So we're gonna see how long we have. But Pedro and John have been holding down the fort over there. Join on Tuesdays and get ready for those interviews, especially because interview season for next summer is coming up real soon. And then just for relationships, just reach out to people. Tell people, hey, you did a good job. Hey, I want to learn how you did this. All this stuff. It's really important. That's a useful skill to have just anywhere, and I want to encourage you guys to do that. So there's still time to demo. Moving forward on Thursdays, we're not going to meet necessarily over Zoom. We might if it gets big enough, but most likely what we'll do is just meet for demos. So if people want to do a demo, we'll do that. And I'll try to invite guests, maybe get some of my old coworkers to come by and just talk about their experience, and we can just do a Q&A with them. Pretty informal, but that is probably what we'll do in August. So next week, it'll probably just be like, hey, anybody want to do a demo? We have a demo, we'll meet. If not, we won't. And that's what we're going to do probably in August. So thank you, everybody, for being a part of Summer of Shipping. And if you're watching this on YouTube at a later point, Summer of Shipping it's kind of just a concept and idea. And if you want to just do something, just jump in the Discord, be a part of it. The shipping doesn't end when summer ends. So I just want to leave you guys with that. And you know, I've been very, very just surprised and pleased by how many people just kind of showed up this summer to build, and have been extremely just moved by, like, you know, everybody's motivation and just what you've been able to accomplish. So shout out to everybody. That's all I have for this. And yeah, so that's me signing off, and I will see you guys in the Discord. I'm gonna stop the